Let's then go on to working visas. Now, I think almost every country in the world is very nervous about working visas because they know that in their own country they have high levels of unemployment and they want to protect jobs for their own people. And Spain, I know, is no different from that. Let's deal firstly with people who are from a European Union country who want to come and work in Spain. Again, they need to do nothing. They can just present themselves
here. From European Union, they need to do nothing, yeah.
And they can stay here for how long? If I come here saying I want to seek work in Spain, am I allowed to stay here forever, or do I have to prove that I've got a job?
If you are from EU country, you can stay here as much as you like. You can stay forever. Of course, with the pass of the time, you have to formalize a number of documentation to prove that you are no longer resident at the country where you come from, but you are resident in Spain.
So you've come without a visa, but you still have to change your status so that you're resident in Spain, and we'll come back to what that means in a minute.
Exactly. If you are staying in Spain longer than 183 days a year, then you're no longer resident at your country, but resident in Spain. And consequently, you have to communicate it as well as to the police station that is dealing with your residency. You have to communicate it as well to the fiscal authorities, because you have to be registered as a tax resident in Spain from the moment that you are resident in reality in Spain.
But that's the same whether you come from an EU country or a non-EU country. It's just making the authorities here in Spain know that you're present.
Correct.
So, fairly straightforward for a person from an EU country. If you come from a non-EU country, of course, you need a special working visa, and this is where it gets more difficult.
It's really hard to obtain this type of visa. You have to apply with a contract or pre-contract with an offer of job, but mainly you have to justify that there's a shortage of jobs in the area where you have that offer, which is very difficult to be happening. We are 2016. Thanks God, we are coming from recuperation, a number of years of recuperation in our economy, but we have had a very big recession and crisis that still we are not 100% recovered yet.
And you still have a very large number of particularly young people who are unemployed.
Young, and the unemployment in Spain is still very important.
Yes.
It's improving with the pass of the years, but this is a slow process. It's not really 100% at the wished level of the Spanish society. So therefore, you can imagine that to prove and justify the shortage of a job in that specific type of work is very difficult, almost impossible. There are some type of working permits that could eventually be given because in some cases, specifically Spain is the biggest olive oil producer in the world, and the harvest.
The Italians might disagree with you, but yes.
Yeah, maybe. But in respect of the producing olive, is undoubtedly Spain the number one producing, and you have to collect them. And this is something that is having to take place from a very short period of time, in which these working permits are traditionally granted and permitted from countries that are helping to this. In that situation, of course, there is a shortage of jobs because you have, in a very short time, to do all the harvest.
Yes. And that sort of agricultural worker permit has always been here, and indeed in most countries they have that. So you'll have Eastern European labourers coming to pick olives in Spain, and then when they finish doing that, maybe they go and pick strawberries in England or whatever it may be, because we all need those workers.
Yeah.
If you, and I think there are other categories of jobs where you can get permits fairly easily. I mean, for example, working for a tour operator as a guide in a tourist resort. There are quite a lot of people employed doing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's the ordinary jobs. If you want to come to Spain and work, shall we say, as a secretary or as a bus driver, then it's going to be very hard to get a work permit.
It's going to be very hard, yeah.
You apply to the consulate in the area where you live. Is there any sort of average time it takes to get a work permit or to apply for a work permit to work in Spain?
That's really something that normally it used to be around 3 to 6 months. Maybe our lawyer specialized in immigration knows
give you a more accurate number.
The update, but it's really taking this long. It
Yes.
could be even longer sometimes.
We've talked about the things you need to do when you get here. So once you've got your visa, you've arrived in Spain, you've taken up your job, you will need to register with the tax authorities, you'll need to register with the municipality, in both cases to show that you're a resident in Spain.
Yes. Yes, in Spain we have an institution which is Padrón Municipal, which is the registration of you as resident or as transeúnte. Transeúnte means that you are temporarily living in that municipality, but you are not really planning to live there
Yes.
permanently. For instance, you are an engineer that came to Marbella to do a road, but you are from Barcelona.
Yes.
So therefore you register at the town hall of Marbella as a transeúnte, which is a temporary resident in Marbella.
Yes. When you are working in any capacity here in Spain, you just have to comply with all of the same things that a local Spanish person would have to do. Many of these rules are not specific to you as a foreigner, they are just things that are natural for a Spanish person to have to do, but which may be very different from what you're used to doing in your own country.
Yes, correct. There are no differences. When you are resident in Spain, you have to comply with the same number of obligations or requirements than any Spanish citizen.